The flick starts with showing an ocean. A research team was delving because they had to search for a gem beneath the sea. The name of the gem was the Heart of the Ocean. It was a priceless gem. Many decades ago, a ship was drowned in the sea. Its name was Titanic, and the gem was present in a lady's necklace. Titanic was drowned with millions of people in it. They were thinking that the gem will be underneath the ocean somewhere. With that hope, they were conducting their research. They had advanced machineries. They were questing for the expensive gem. Meantime, they witnessed a safe there. When they elevated the safe out of the sea and opened, they couldn't find their desired material. There was a photograph sketched by someone. There was a date written on the picture, 14th April 1912. It implied it was the photograph of many decades ago. There was some money inside the locker, but it was obsolete at the present time. The woman who was in the photograph was wearing the necklace, in which there was the heart of the ocean. It was the gem they were seeking for. Now that team returned with the photograph with the hope that they will search for Titanic in next try, and the lost gem also. Meanwhile, it also came to the news that a team started searching for the Titanic. An elderly lady also stumbled upon the news. She immediately called the research team. She asked them when they were gone to search for the Titanic. Did they find the gem which is called the Heart of the Ocean? The team got astounded as the thing resided in their crew that they were searching for the gem. Then how that old lady knew that? Maybe she was connected with the incident somehow. She was asked about the incident and she told them that she was the girl whose sketch they saw. The sketch was drawn one day before the drowning of the Titanic. When they asked her name, she revealed them that her name was Rose. The team arranged to bring Rose immediately there. Rose reached there and the crew began questioning her. One man of the team stated that they knew all things about the Titanic. Having heard that, Rose started weeping and said that for them it was just an accident or just maybe a story, but she had seen everything with her sight. There was a dreadful time when many people died in front of her sight. They made her quiet. Rose asked them to let her describe the real story. Later she comments telling the story of many years ago. She told them that it was the year 1912. The Titanic was ready for her maiden voyage. It was huge and filled with luxury. The affluent families could travel in it. She was also from an aristocrat lineage. And here we are shown the profound story of the happening of the past. Rose was 17 years young, and she embarked on the ship with her fiancé and her mother, and the ship was going to New York. Rose and her family were on the business class floor. Meantime, a boy named Jack came to the third class with his friend. He couldn't afford the ticket for the ship, but he won it in gambling. Later, Jack was sitting and talking to his friend. His sight caught Rose on the other side, and she was looking very gloomy. We saw that Rose was in the surrounding of the rich people in the ship. They were all materialistic, they only talked about money. Rose was resented by their conversation. She didn't want to get married then, and wanted to enjoy her life. But she knew that when the journey was over, she would be married. While getting annoyed by all this, she went outside of the ship to commit suicide, because the water outside was deep and cold. Before she left, Jack saw her. He dissuaded her, saying that if she wouldn't get peace after dying, then where she would go. Rose understood him, refrained herself from suicide, and grabbed Jack's hand. But then her foot slipped and she was about to fall down. She cried for help. The securities came there and felt like Jack was trying to push her or assault her. They instantly called Rose's fiancé. Rose's fiancé was a conceited person. He misbehaved with Jack, saying that he was teasing her would-be. Rose told him that he had saved her life. She was seeing the view of ocean, and if he wouldn't come, she would fall. Rose's fiancé offered him money. Rose proposed that they should invite him to dinner. Afterwards, Rose met Jack and she came to know that he makes enchanting sketching. Jack told her that no doubt he was poor, but he enjoyed his life. Rose became dejected because she couldn't enjoy her life even if she was opulent. She was interested in Jack's life. Meantime, there some friends of Rose's mother came with her. Rose introduced Jack to her mother, claiming him to be her new friend. Rose's mother didn't like him because his attire wasn't royal. She was too proud of herself, and she was also acquisitive. After that, Rose was taken from there as they had dinner together that night. A lady made Jack wear her suit, as Jack had no proper costume to wear at dinner. She was a civil lady, and then we saw that it was dinner time. Rose was waiting for Jack, and as Jack entered, Rose was stunned to observe Jack looking handsome. Jack might be disturbed like that for the first time. They started dinner, but Rose's fiancée and her mother tried to humiliate Jack. While talking, their expressions showed him that it was a huge achievement to do dinner with them. But their words didn't have any impact on Jack, and he was answering them properly. Upon completion of dinner, he was about to go from there, but he gave a cheat to Rose in confidence. The cheat said, "Meet me again." Later, he was waiting for her. Rose became startled and she immediately went to the place. Jack said to her that it was time for their party. He led her to the place where the third-class people were dancing. They were all happy and nobody was disdaining other people. And Rose also liked that environment. She danced and enjoyed with Jack. A companion of Rose's fiancé witnessed all the events and vomited everything to him. Upon the revelation, Rose's fiancé scolded her and her mother forbade her to meet Jack again. She further added, if she wanted her happy, marry the man whom she was engaged to. But Rose felt her life under restraint and monotonous. But she couldn't stop herself and they meet again. Jack confessed there that he liked Rose. He would always bring happiness to her. Afterwards, she asked Jack to make her sketch and he began drawing her sketch. It was the sketch that the research team unearthed from the ocean. Jack placed this sketch and Rose's necklace in a locker. Rose had written a letter to Jack that her picture and gem were with him. But Rose's fiancé came across that letter and the sketch. Rose's fiancé was searching for her but couldn't find her. Rose and Jack were together, having fun. Meanwhile, we saw that the ship was sailing, but a gigantic iceberg stood in front of the ship. They tried to swerve the ship by lowering the speed, but couldn't do that, and the ship got collided with the iceberg. Due to the collision, the ship was damaged. The water started coming inside gradually. With the passage of time, much water flooded the ship. The architect told that if they couldn't stop it, the ship will plunge within 2 hours. The rich people there said that how that could be possible. Titanic was a huge ship. But it happened that Titanic was drowning little by little. There were other boats in the Titanic which were placed for emergency like that. The rich people were taken off with the help of those boats so that their lives would be saved. During the occurrence, we saw that Rose's fiancé was looking for Jack and Rose. He cleverly dropped the necklace of Rose in Jack's pocket. He stated everyone that what kind of man he was, and Rose was engaged to him. He was a burglar. They began checking him, and when they checked his coat, they found the necklace inside it. He claimed that Jack was with Rose only for her money, but Rose didn't believe in him. She was convinced that Jack loved her in real. We observed that the circumstances were going for the worst. The ship was being submerged. Rose was separated from Jack, but Rose's fiancé and her mother weren't letting her to go to Jack. Rose forcefully went to search for Jack. She ignored her fiancé and her mother. She was determined to save Jack, who was confined in a room. She searched for Jack a lot, but Jack's hand was cuffed with a pipe. Rose ultimately found her and freed him with an axe. They came to know that the most of the boats were utilized by passengers. Meanwhile, Jack came to know that 2 lifeboats were still there, but only females and kids were going in them. Jack forced Rose to board on that lifeboat. He tried to send her in the lifeboat, but Rose wasn't going, leaving Jack. Meanwhile, Rose's fiancé showed up there and made her wear his coat that contained the necklace, but the man forgot about that. Being persuaded, Rose board on the boat sadly. Jack was seeing her from outside, but as she realized that her fiancé wouldn't take Jack with him, she moved again to Titanic. She said to Jack that she will always stay with him, no matter if she had to die. On the other side, Rose's fiancé, having grabbed a child whose parents were dead, pretended like that was his baby to embark on the lifeboat. Jack and Rose were together. The Titanic collapsed into two parts and everyone was falling into the water and were dying one by one. Jack and Rose also fell in the water. The water was so cold that the dead bodies were freezing in it. They noticed a wooden plank there. Rose placed herself on it, but Jack couldn't, because it could only bear the weight of only one person. Jack remained in the freezing cold water. The staffs of Titanic were looking in the water so that they could rescue the alive people, as there were still room in the lifeboats. But they witnessed dead bodies in the water due to the cold. Then the boat was passing by Jack and Rose. Rose was happy because they were also dying of cold. Rose called Jack with the hope to survive, but tragically Jack made his demise very before. Rose started weeping. She was holding the hands of Jack. Jack was no more, but she remembered what she promised to Jack. Then Rose left Jack's hand and he was drowned in the water. She tried to call the staff, but due to the cold, the voice wasn't coming out of her throat. She managed to grab a whistle from a deceased nearby and tried to draw attention of the staff by blowing that, and the rescue team saved her soul. Then we saw the survivors were transferred to the other ship. They were asking the name of the survivors, but Rose told her name Mrs. Jack instead of Rose. When her mother and her fiancé searched for her, they couldn't know if Rose was alive or not. Rose hid herself because she didn't want to go to her previous life. She always missed Jack. The story that Rose was telling to the research team ended there. All were mourned after listening to her story. Then they said that she had told everything to them, and they stopped their research. In fine, we saw Rose dump the necklace into the ocean for self-contentment, and with that the movie came to an end. Well, that's all for today. Thank you.